What is the source of your joy and what is the source of life for you? What key decisions do you, or rather, let me say me, as 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐿𝐼 𝐔𝐬𝐞𝐝, what key decisions do I make that steer the ship for me? My grandmother used to say, in fact, let me share a short story. So back in high school, I had a bunch of friends, right? We all have friends, I assume, especially in high school, or at least we'd like to be part of the cool clan, right? Or the cool group. So I was part of this cool group, and this was not necessarily in school, but outside of school, so at home, right? But I was in high school at the time, and the significance of the influence of the friends was so high that whatever was right, whatever I was raised to do, whatever I was taught to do, I wouldn't do it specifically just because I wanted to fit in, I wanted to be a part of the group. So I had a curfew, for example, but I wouldn't go in at home at the time that my curfew was stated. I'd rather be part of the cool group for 30 more minutes and arrive home late. And again, when it came to issues of parties, I wasn't allowed to go to any parties. I wasn't allowed to stay up all night, to stay out all night. I wasn't allowed, to chill with friends as long as I could. I had to focus on school. So I had to become rebellious to that. So one day after my rebellion, and I threw a party while my mother was working night duty, right? And unfortunately, the detrimental effects of that was that the party went bad, a fight broke out, windows were broken at home, and I got into serious trouble. And when I say serious trouble, I mean serious trouble. And so I was shipped, to the northwest from Gauteng to my grandparents, right? And I was forced to stay there for a couple of days to think, to reflect, but also to be disciplined by my grandparents. They had that reputation, they had that repertoire to say, once you are sent to 𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼 and 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿, know that you will come back behaving, you'll come back listening to your mother, you'll come back with direction. So this time around, the discipline wasn't around, hiding, because they realized that one was in high school and was growing, and they had the experience. They knew how to deal with kids at certain stages. So I was now at your mid to late adolescent stage, right? So my grandmother, the one thing that she said to me that actually sticked to this day, I mean, she's now late. It's years and years later. In fact, it's more than a decade later. But the one thing that sticked is that she asked me a question. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐼, are you a butterfly? I was like, huh? Of course I'm not a butterfly. Oh, mama, what do you mean? And then she was like, well, it seems when the wind goes left, you automatically go left with the wind. When the wind goes right, you automatically go right with the wind. So are you sure you are not a butterfly? Wow. I mean, wow. That question hit me because obviously I'm not a butterfly, right? Obviously I'm not a butterfly. But the simplicity of that analogy, simply what she meant was, when my friends try to pressurize me, I'm easily influenced. I'm that malleable. I'm easy to manipulate into doing what they want versus what is right. Not only what is right in the sight of the elders, my mother, my grandparents, and so on, but what is right holistically, as in what is right and morally accepted and of value to my life and what is right for me. So I had to contemplate upon that and say, well, obviously I'm not a butterfly, and this is where my life basically needs to change. Obviously, it took some steps, it took some steps for life to eventually change and for me to mold and mature into who I wanted to become. But I'm literally sharing this example to say there's a certain point in life where you realize that you are not only not on the right path, but also you don't know yourself enough to determine what is right for you and what brings joy for you as an individual. So for me, it had to take my grandmother actually making that analogy. But in the bigger scheme of things, one needs to basically sit back and analyze what fulfills you as an individual. Na as 𝐔𝐬𝐞𝐝 𝐔𝐬𝐿𝐼, I'm influenced and fulfilled by the impact that I want to have on the world, And that's why you'll find me watching tons and tons of YouTube videos on a daily basis, trying to find inspiration, seeking new knowledge and wisdom, with that key thing of wanting to then share it, but first conceptualizing it in my own on concept of self, and then sharing it through my experiences and through relatable examples to people who have either been raised the way I was raised, or experienced life the way I experienced life, or actually see me and where I am right now and want to actually come to where I am, right? But also would need to understand, how did I get to where I am, and how will I make it further as I progress in life. So I actually want us to follow a similar example of asking ourselves, what is it that influences the decisions that we make on a daily basis? Are we cognizant of the decisions that we make on a daily basis? So do we know why we make certain decisions and why we don't make other decisions? Do we know why certain decisions are good for us and why others are not good for us? Do we ask ourselves the right questions on a daily? Remember, for you to find answers, you need to ask yourself the right questions. You need to seek within yourself and actually want to be knowledgeable about yourself. So you need to ask yourself the right questions. So the questions that ought to be asked are obviously the fundamental. What is it that am I doing with my life to fulfill where I want to be? Who am I hanging around? Who am I influenced by? Whom am I becoming on a daily basis? And who do I want to become? Am I aligning my journey with who and where I want to be and where I want to go? When is it? What is the time frame that I've set for myself for me to actually get to that particular point in time? So we all know how goals are time framed, SMART goals, that is. They are measurable, they are simple, they are achievable and so on, but they are also time framed. So you have to set a time frame for yourself. When is it that you want to achieve that particular goal for yourself? And the most significant of all those questions is why. The how is important, but why? Why, in essence, is that important for you? Why? Very, very significant. You need to know why. And in finding value to the answer of why, I'd say go out there and buy Simon Sinek's book. Start with why. He makes fundamental and key examples in business, in personal lives, as to why people make the decisions they make, why organizations follow certain paths, and why do certain organizations succeed over other organizations, why do certain businesses succeed over other businesses. And fundamentally, it's because they understand why. What is their purpose, and why are they doing whatever they are doing on a daily basis? Why are they hiring the type of people they are hiring? Why is it that they are investing in certain things? Why are they looking at their model a particular way? Why are they integrating their systems in a specific way? So take yourself, because you are your own brand, you are your own personality, and you are your own business. No one is going to sell 𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐿 like 𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐿. Right? No one is going to sell 𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐿 like 𝐿𝐶𝐻𝐿. Like, for example, just check out the way I'm dressed. I just chose, to just put out a new look, just to catch your attention from, the looks that you've seen in the past. And because I know that I have to sell myself, I have to sell my brand, I have to sell my personality, but more so, I have to sell the context and the substance that I want to share with you. All right. So just make it a task for yourself. Ask yourself those fundamental questions, and then from there, they are just the starting point. Of course, the next step is for you to answer those questions. After you've answered them, then find simple ways to achieve your why, to achieve your how, your when, your where, and your what. And then while you're on that journey, you there'll be a self-realization. You'll understand why you're doing the things you're doing and whether they align with where you want to go. So peace out, good luck with that, and all the best. Ciao.